Antonio, welcome back to my channel. Let's have some fighting words. So in this video, I want to talk about Gary Cully versus Miguel Vasquez on the undercard for Wood versus Conley. And right off the gate, I just got to say, this is actually my first time seeing Gary Cully, and I didn't really know what to expect. He has the look. He looks like a fighter. He looks like he's bred for this. But to see him fight, I wanted to see how he moved, how he looked, and I got to tell you, I was very, very impressed. Now, again, you have a much older fighter in Miguel Vasquez. Clearly, this was just somebody to just see where his skills were and see what he could do with, an older fighter who is not at the peak or nowhere near his prime. However, to Miguel Vasquez's credit, he was a former champ. So it wasn't like he's just some cab driver they just found and stuck him in the ring and said, go ahead, Cully, look good against this guy. No, he's actually somebody who at one stage and point in his life, reached a certain level of skill. And, he maximized that in getting a belt. So we got to give him the proper respect, basically. But that being said, moving on to the fight, Gary Cully is something else. I like him. I personally like him. I like the way he moved, very, very fluid. I like that his bouncing around. I like that. I like that he was bouncing around. I like that he was also circling while he was bouncing. People, it's not really easy to bounce like that and then circle. When you see somebody like a Manny Pacquiao doing those movements, it's not easy. It's not easy to do that, circle around and, fire off shots. It's not easy to do. So when you see somebody like that and you see somebody as rangy and long as he is, with that type of coordination, automatically my antenna goes up and I'm like, yeah, I need to give this guy a little bit more respect. So like I was saying about his footwork, he has great footwork. Just the bouncing around, he's very fluid, just very comfortable in his setting. The lights weren't bothering him at all. And sometimes you get on a stage, and you get a little uncomfortable with the lights or whatever the case may be, but you can see, he was very comfortable. He believed in his skills, and he went out and he showed out. He had a great performance. Vasquez, again, I have to be honest, was a sitting target. I mean, he literally was just shelling up and just basically walking straight forward, literally. One foot in front of the other, walking straight forward. So he was a sitting target. He wasn't the fastest guy in the world. But clearly this was just a fight just to say, hey, world, look, here's Gary Cully. That's all this fight was. Check out his skills. He's pretty cool. That's all it was. Even after the first round knockdown, so one thing I liked about Gary Cully, you can tell he's done a lot of sparring. Because after the first round knockdown, he didn't get overly excited and try to jump in and just try to finish Vasquez off. He was very calm, very composed, and he took his time and he patiently went back in calmly through the jab. And he worked it back up to where, he got the final knockdown. And that, again, comes from sparring. That comes from sparring, rounds and rounds and rounds of sparring. You see these guys, and a lot of these guys are super ripped and super big and muscular. And it's that's cool, but your greatest teacher is going to be sparring. And you can tell when somebody's doing a lot of sparring because he's smart enough to know this guy was down, but he's not hurt. He's just down a little dazed, maybe even not even dazed, probably just shocked that he got hit with this shot. So there's nothing to rush in on, or there's nothing to, no sense of urgency that I got to get you out of here right now. Not to mention, we got so many more rounds to go, and I like that. I like that he was patient. I like that he was calm. I like that he was very composed. I like that he can just run across the stage and start winging shots. He's a very slick guy, but also he's a very patient guy. And patience can save you, because listen, Vasquez, he's pretty scrappy. Every time they got close, he took full advantage and he would throw flurries. So he's pretty scrappy. And Cully, knowing that, was like, let me just chill. I'll get you again. I'll catch you again. And that's exactly what he did. One thing that Cully did that really impressed me was the fact that he stepped back. He stepped back, fired off, and knocked Vasquez down. Again, something that I can tell, number one, I can tell he's just a naturally gifted fighter. The fact that he can do that hop step and circle around while firing, but also that he could fire while backing up and still have precision on that punch and back up and get out of the way. Also, he understands his body type. You know, he's pretty tall for the division, very lanky, and he could hit you without you hitting him because he has those long arms, and he could just gracefully kind of sit back just a little bit, but still be able to tag you. He understands his body. And a lot of times you see guys who don't fully understand their bodies. You know, they don't fully understand what they're working with, because if they did, they would fight a lot differently. You know, you'll get guys who are tall for their division, and then they'll fight short, you know, and it's just like, what are you doing? You know, like you don't have to fight like that. You're actually making the fight more difficult for yourself. You know, yeah, you're making it difficult for this person maybe in the moment, you know, but honestly, you're keeping this person in the fight more than he has to be by you dipping lower, you know, and I see that a lot. You know, it's just like, well, if you got the height, use it. Don't dip low. Use your height. It'll work for you, you know, but he understands his body type. He understands what he's working with, and that's a great sign as well. So as he matures, he's only going to come into that more and more and more. You look at somebody like a Lennox Lewis, who understood his body type, who understood that he had long arms and understood that he was taller than a lot of other guys. You look at Tyson Fury, he understands his body type. You know, a lot of these guys don't fully get it. You know, even with smaller guys, some guys just don't get their body type, and it will work in their favor if they actually straightened out just a little bit. I'm not saying being reckless. I'm not saying stick your chin out, but I am saying straighten out just a little bit. And he has nice pop. He's got like one punch. Now, granted, I don't know exactly, you know, what Vasquez has been through in his life in the ring, but, you know, it was one punch that knocked him down the first time. It was one punch. I believe it was one punch that knocked him down the second time as well. So he's got some pop, you know, and mind you, when he knocked him down the first time, like I said, he was stepping back. So imagine if he was stepping forward. Imagine if he put all his weight into that shot. So he's got some pop to him as well. But again, because he's so tall and rangy, you know, you look at somebody like a Tommy Hearns, who can get full range in that thing, and he can fire that thing out, and now it's like a missile. And he has that same body type, so he can be very, very dangerous, especially, like I said, as he comes into his own, as he has some more difficult and more, you know, obviously higher opposition that he faces and gets past. But overall, like I said, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with his precision and punches. Like when he throws a shot, he hits the target, and he doesn't waste punches either. You know, that's another thing. You see guys and they'll just waste punches. And when you waste punches, you waste energy. When you waste energy, you're making yourself susceptible to possibly getting clipped yourself. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't waste energy. He conserves his energy very, very well. So you're talking about somebody with precision punches, great footwork, can fight on the back step, which is important, again, because of his body type. I can hit you, you can't hit me. He has a great look. I mean, he's marketable. He looks like he's on a freaking gang or something like that. So, like, he's marketable. You know, he looks like he belongs in this division. He has that grit, but he also has what I liked, you know, throughout the entire fight. He has a particular swag about his fighting. You can tell he's very confident in his boxing. And again, that's only going to grow. The more fights that he has, the more victories that he racks up, the more names goes on his resume, that swag is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can't wait for him to get in there with some tougher opposition. And this division already is stacked. So I look forward to seeing more of Gary Cully. But you tell me what you think down below. Drop your comments. Did you like the fight? Did you like seeing him in there? Did you like his movements? What do you think about him going up against a lot of other guys in the division? How do you think he'll stack up at this present time? Drop your comments down below. And that being said, please like, please share, and please subscribe to my channel.